Are you deaf, or just too dim-witted to grasp a simple command? General Thorne's voice sliced through the refined hum of the sovereign table like a blade. Khloe Maxwell froze mid-step, the au jus untouched in the ramekin beside the prime rib. All eyes turned. Forks paused midair. Conversations died. You people never belong in places like this, he hissed. It wasn't the first time Khloe had been insulted, but it was the first time she couldn't let it slide. That moment would change everything. Just 12 hours earlier, Khloe's day had started in the quiet suburb of Pasadena. At 31, her life revolved around structure, morning alarms, school drop-offs, and serving powerful men who never learned her name. Her son, Ethan, stood in the kitchen, swinging his backpack. "Mom, can I get new cleats?" She smiled, heart aching. "Maybe soon, baby. Eat your toast." By 10 a.m., Khloe was suited up at the Sovereign table, a restaurant whispered about in Forbes articles and frequented by CEOs, politicians, and military brass. It was her 8th year walking those polished floors, each shift demanding invisible grace. That Friday, her heart sank when she saw the reservation, General Marcus Thorne. She'd heard the horror stories, impossible demands, explosive temper, no tolerance for human error. When her coworker called in sick, Khloe was assigned to his table. At noon sharp, Thorne arrived. Imposing, decorated, cold-eyed. Khloe approached with her usual professional poise. "Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Khloe. I'll be assisting you." Thorne stared at her, then barked. "Espresso. Double shot. Piping hot. Don't mess it up." She delivered it swiftly, then took his order. "Prime rib. Medium rare. Au jus mixed into the mashed potatoes. Not beside it. Think you can manage that?" "Yes, sir," she said, voice steady. But in the kitchen's chaos, one critical detail got lost. When the dish came out, the au jus was in a small side bowl. Khloe's stomach dropped. Maybe he won't notice. He noticed. "What is this abomination?" His voice didn't need volume to draw attention. He stood, fury bubbling beneath his metals. "I apologize. Are you incapable of following basic instructions, or just too stupid to listen? I specifically said mix it in." The room was dead silent. Khloe's hands trembled. "You people, always pretending to belong where you don't." Something inside her snapped. "General," she said quietly, her voice even, "you may command your troops, but you don't command respect." His mouth hung open. Gasps echoed across the room. One woman clapped softly. Then another. General Thorne's face turned crimson. "Manager." "Now." Khloe turned and walked to the back, legs shaking. Robert, the manager, emerged seconds later, trying to calm the situation. "Sir, I can comp your meal. There is no discussion. Fire her, or I will ruin this place." A few diners murmured disapproval. A well-known tech executive joined the slow applause. Thorne exploded. "You haven't heard the last of this," he growled, storming out with his aides in tow. The rest of Khloe's shift blurred. "You've got guts," whispered Lily, "but I hope it was worth it." At home, Khloe tucked Ethan in and stared at the ceiling, her heart a battlefield of pride and dread. What if she got fired? What if Thorne really could destroy everything? 3 days later, her phone rang before dawn. "Khloe, have you checked the internet?" "What?" "You went viral. Someone recorded the whole thing." The grainy clip, Khloe standing tall, Thorne fuming, had millions of views. The hashtag respected or not commanded was trending nationwide. Suddenly, Khloe was no longer invisible. Her inbox exploded with interview requests, support, and hate. Ethan came home, beaming. "Mom, my teacher showed the video. You're awesome." She forced a smile, heart pounding. "Thanks, baby." But inside, she was terrified that a week later, she was summoned to the Sovereign table's corporate office. Khloe stepped into a pristine conference room. At the far end sat Arthur Sterling, the restaurant's elusive owner, flanked by 2 attorneys and a sharp PR. "Our EP," in no one said a word. Khloe took a breath. Was this the end of her career, or the beginning of something far bigger? "Khloe, please, have a seat," said Mr. Sterling, his voice calm, yet lined with gravity. Khloe sat, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, preparing for the worst. "Mr. Sterling, I can explain, he raised a hand. No need. We've all seen the video. We've also monitored the overwhelming public response. Khloe braced herself for a reprimand. Our legal team found no liability on your part. In fact, our reservations increased by 55% this week. Khloe blinked. Wait, what? You've become a symbol of strength. Guests are now requesting to be served by you. So, we are retaining your employment. Her chest tightened with disbelief. Thank you so much. However, he continued, there are new expectations. No media appearances without our approval. No political activity during shifts. You represent the sovereign table now. Khloe nodded quickly, waves of relief crashing over her. She still had her job. Ethan wouldn't have to give up soccer. One final note, Sterling added. General Thorne has threatened legal action. We're not concerned, but you must remain professional. No further incidents. Understood. Khloe returned to the dining floor, grateful, but changed. She had a job, yes, but she also had a target on her back. 2 weeks later, a distinguished woman in a sharp navy blue suit entered the restaurant. She was in her late 50s, African-American, with kind eyes and commanding presence. I'm Assemblywoman Denise Harding, she said as Khloe approached. I wanted to meet you personally. Khloe knew the name. A former Army officer, Harding had become the first black woman elected to the California Assembly in over 20 years. I saw your video, she said gently. It reminded me of when a general told me I didn't belong. I froze. You didn't. Khloe sat. The restaurant hushed around them. Thorne may sue, Harding warned. Men like him hate public humiliation. My office can connect you with pro bono legal support. I just want to take care of my son, Khloe replied. I understand, but you've ignited something bigger than yourself. In 6 months, there'll be a legislative hearing on workplace discrimination. Would you testify? I've never spoken in front of a crowd before. That's exactly why they'll listen. Khloe hesitated. Can I think about it? Of course. But Khloe, your voice matters now, more than ever. In the weeks that followed, Khloe noticed changes all around her. The hashtag respect is not commanded flooded social media. Employees across industries began sharing stories of abuse. The sovereign table became busier than ever. Customers asked for photos with Khloe. She felt like a novelty, but the tips were good and bills were paid on time. Letters began arriving from across the country. A teacher in Oregon wrote, "You gave me the courage to speak up." A server in Atlanta shared, "I used your exact words with a rude customer." 3 upscale restaurants implemented new protections, inspired by her story, labeled the Khloe Maxwell protocols. At Ethan's soccer games, parents treated her differently. Some smiled, others avoided eye contact. One boy told Ethan, "Your mom's a hero." Ethan shrugged it off, but Khloe saw the glow of pride in his eyes. Labor unions and advocacy groups reached out. Most invitations she declined, still wary of attention. But every night, she read more letters. People told her she had changed their lives, and slowly, Khloe began to believe it. 6 weeks later, she barely recognized herself. Her spine seemed straighter, her voice more confident. When a customer snapped his fingers at her, she calmly said, "Sir, please address me with respect." He blinked, surprised, then apologized. Even Ethan noticed. "Mom," he said, riding home, "you're different now. Like you're not scared anymore." Khloe smiled. "Maybe I'm not." She began teaching free dance classes on Saturdays at the local community center. During breaks, she shared lessons on confidence with teenage girls. "Don't shrink yourself for anyone," she told them. "You matter. All of you." Soon, other mothers confided in her. Maria, a cleaner, asked how to report wage theft. Joanne, an office assistant, whispered about harassment. "What would you do, Khloe?" Khloe gave them Assemblywoman Harding's number and connected them with legal support. Her single act of defiance had rippled outward. People sought her wisdom. But more than that, she saw herself differently now. She wasn't just surviving. She was finally living. 2 months after the video broke, Khloe came home to find her mailbox overflowing again. Over 2,500 letters, some with handwritten notes, others with small donations. $9 from a stranger in Kansas, she said, stunned. "What is happening?" They want to help us, Ethan said simply. The First Unity Church hosted a Khloe Maxwell Day. She declined to speak but stood at the front and bowed, hands clasped in gratitude. Across Los Angeles, signs began appearing in restaurant windows. The Khloe Maxwell Standard, zero tolerance for staff abuse. The local news highlighted her again. Celebrities shared her story. Offers came from nonprofits and brands, asking her to partner or speak. Khloe had once prayed for invisibility. Now, she was seen everywhere. And for the first time, she wasn't afraid of being seen.